Evening, you wrong'un. 'Tis I. I'm. I will get to the parish notes in a moment, but I'm watching. Hang on, I'm watching Fox News live in the States because Trump was meant to make an announcement from the White House. He wanted to address the nation at 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. our time, and nearly 20 minutes later, he's not he's not made the announcement. So I don't know whether you're hearing the rumors. There's something not right. He's been gone for 3 days. I mean, it's the quietest he's been since 2020. So just kind of trying to keep an eye on it, because I'm not sure if anything major is going to be announced. So welcome to Live 230. Somebody did say, you said 2:30. Yeah, not 2:30 in the afternoon, not dentist time. No, dentist time, 2:30. But welcome to the body of the Kirk. We've got an absolute ton of stuff to excuse me. Before anybody asks, yes, I'm going to go and see the doctor. It's been 2 weeks. If you've got a cough for longer than 2 weeks, then off see the quack. We'll try a regime of antibiotics again. So that's that. I'll wait until we've got quite a few people coming into the body of the Kirk this evening. Everybody's welcome, of course. It's a broad Kirk. Broad church. And I will apologise and explain what happened last night in just a moment, once everybody gets into the body of the Kirk. Hang on a second. Need some water. There is, I will say about the news cycle, there's so much going on. I can't keep up with it. Literally, stuff's changing. And if you're a politician, a Labour politician, you're telling people you're going to do something one day, and the next day, like today, you change your mind. Dear Lord. Oi, that'll sort it out. So I'm going to keep an eye on Trump. I'm watching Fox News. Not that I have any allegiance to any American channel, but I just want to see what's going on. So tonight we'll do some of the stuff that we didn't do last night, and then tomorrow night we'll do some of the stuff that I haven't had time to do tomorrow, because tomorrow is our 3rd birthday. It was the day the channel was created 3 years ago. Hang on a second, what the bloody hell? Let me just see that this is... Yes, that's fine. You'll catch up. Oh, dear Lord. And I haven't got any cough mixture. So we'll give it... should I? So tomorrow night we'll definitely have Battenberg. We'll definitely have Altar Wine. I have some good news. Sister Mary has decided she needed a new growler. So please welcome Sister Mary's new growler, her big dog dick. So Sister Mary now has a big dick to run around, or the churches. Obviously, we welcome human beings and animals. We accept anyone, really. But Sister Mary's big dog dick is well, it's a little pup. It's a little black pup, little spaniel, and it's ever so funny. It's ever so funny. But we're going to make sure that Sister Mary's big dog Dick is inoculated against everything, and so she can run around. And if the bishop wants to give it a stroke, then who are we to stop the bishop giving it a stroke? And Sister Mary's very proud, very proud. Obviously, she's showing it off to all the other nuns, and we will allow big dog Dick to run around freely in the body of the kirk whilst we present the sermon from the pulpit of truth. So be aware that if you hear the odd bark, it's big dog Diggers. So we'll get to, oh, hang on a second. Oh, yes, right. Watto. Let's get to some of your comments. Let me just check once. I want to go and see. Oh, dear Lord. I mean, it's like, you know, President of the United States, you would do everything with military precision. And there's now going on. He said 2 o'clock, 7 o'clock UK time, GMT. And, well, nothing. But the other thing is, can you remember, or weren't you watching the telly on 9/11? But, what are we? Oh, yeah, a week away today. Oh, Tuesday. We'll do 9/11 next Tuesday. You are aware that there are rocket and missile launchers on the roof of the White House, aren't you? Because on 9/11, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know whether the terrorist attacks were going to hit the White House or wherever. And so they had the missiles armed and prepared to shoot down any planes over DC. So if you see the live feed and you see the roof of the White House, you will notice they don't look anything like missile launchers. Of course, they bloody don't. They're kind of camouflaged and hidden. But I promise you, there are rocket and missile launchers on roof of White House. And you know why they call it the White House, don't you? Because the Americans are not very bright. It's white. I think they did paint it for a reason. I'm not quite sure what that reason is. That's fine. Right. Welcome to the body of the kirk. The Orange Man is delaying it a little, but we'll get there eventually. So again, as you saw from my video earlier, I am going to try and do more videos during the day, as well as the lives, as well as other stuff. I'll tell you about the interviews that I've spoken to and have agreed, because I asked you a few lives ago who you wanted as guests. Les Griffith says, I'm awaiting Trump's press conference. He's late. I know. I don't know whether he's playing it or because I've either seen it in a dream, which means it's been a predictional dream, or I've read it somewhere. But somebody said, yes, he'll get into office, but then in 6 months' time, once he's in office, there'll be heart problems or there'll be a heart attack of kind. Well, he's in office and we're 7 months down the line. So I await. If anybody can just kind of, like we do on election nights when we do a live, we'll just keep an eye on the live feeds and see what comes out of it. You can be my eyes and my ears whilst I'm presenting this, and you can give me a nod because I've got a button for Fox News, and it was just the only first one I could find that was actually going to relay the speech. So last night there's a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, in my real world, that I don't bring here for very obvious reasons. And there was some stuff. It was a Murphy's Law day yesterday. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. It was one of those. And I'd had a very frustrating afternoon with Phil Mora. Very, very, very frustrating. So you'll notice that, well, you won't actually, because in the end I didn't put it up. But I was trying to, you know, this. You can flip it around. And most people will say, well, your lives are the wrong way round. So if you can see that up there, it's the wrong way round. So it's, excuse me a second, I've got a bit of a runny nose. I'd spent hours and hours and hours on that, trying to rectify it before I put the video up yesterday, and it wasn't working. So I was very, 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 very frustrated. And thank you to the Scarlet Pimpernel for helping me out. And then other stuff started going wrong, and other stuff started happening. And then I was made aware of a double agent, someone who's been here and in the chat and isn't all that they seem. So before anybody says anything, everybody's fine tonight because they're not on the live and they're not in the chat. I know they're not. So that was problematic, shall we say? And I won't go into too much detail because then I'll give my strategy away. But there's been a double agent, and then somebody was commenting on a different video, had the temerity to take the piss. So I just thought it was getting to the end of the day where I needed to punch somebody's lights out. Not that I'm a violent man at all, but you know the feeling when you're so frustrated, you just, there's stuff, and you just want to go rah, and it just all got a little bit too much for me. So I disconnected from the whole of social media. I disconnected from all electronic, and my phone went off, all of it. And I just decided to retreat to my real world and regroup. And then this morning went to the gym and took care of my frustration. I was in the gym for an hour. I mean, I've not been in quite a while, but I tell you what, there's nothing better than the heavy bag for 20 minutes just to get rid of the frustration. I absolutely mullered out of that heavy bag today. I love it. Punches, kicks, strikes, all of that from ninjutsu, from boxing. Somebody just said do some tai chi. Oh, it was ninjutsu. It was definitely writ large today. I was at it. And you know, you come out a little out of breath and a bit sweaty, and it just, everything just flows. It's all in order. So apologies for last night. But as you will notice from the videos, I'm trying to do stuff every day. However long that lasts, I don't know. The interviews, there are the people coming back and say, yay, nay, yay. So we have some lovely stuff coming up over the next few weeks. The Jeremy Vine interview is going to be aired. Initially there was technical issues with the Jeremy Vine interview. Nothing to do with Jeremy, nothing to do with me, but the place that I was using let me down big time. And I was waiting to see what happened with Douggee today. And I won't go into any of that, but I was waiting to see what happened today before I had the Jeremy Vine interview. So in the morning, I'll finish the editing off and get it out to you as quickly as. What else was there to tell you? I'll go through some of the comments because I'm going to take my time tonight with the live. I've got so much to tell you. I've got so much to talk through. I've got so much. That's even before I get to the news cycle from today about the illegals coming in and none going out, and the Labour Party just being corrupt. And, well, it's Sir Keir Starmer's birthday today. 63. The toxic old tart. So whilst we're chatting, if you can think of a decent birthday present. I mean, I'm not going to send him Battenberg because evidently, from what we're being told about things and stuff, and obviously because of legal reasons, I'm not going to go into that back. But you know, having a bit of Battenberg might make it smell a little more fragrant while there's Ukrainians around, or whether he's dancing and listening to the Fun Boy 3 or the Four Tops, for that matter. But 63-year-old, what would you, if money was no object, what would you buy Sir Keir Starmer, 2-tier, 3-gear, queer-as folk Starmer? What would you buy him for his birthday? Me? Exocet and lube. Not going to tell you why. I'm sure you can work it out. I'm sure you're adult enough. But an Exocet on the end of with some lube. KY. I do. Do you know? I love everyone that comes, all the community, everybody that comes into the live, and everybody that passes a comment on stuff, because you're just straight talking, no nonsense kind of folk. My kind of folk, as Michael Barrymore once said. But I'm sure you wouldn't want to come swim in at my swimming pool. Somebody said the other day, do you know? I think it was I See You. Do you know, Rev? I feel sorry for the new Mrs. Allen. And I said, what's that then? He said, oh, your mind, it's so quick. How does she keep up with you? She don't. She don't. She just laughs at me, points at me, and walks off. And that's in private. Thank you to everyone that's in the comments this evening. Please comment as much as you will. I've got 4 questions for you, maybe 5 tonight. And I've got all this stuff that I need to get into. But has Trump started yet? Is he going to be like, let me just check this? Fucking hell. So he's nearly an hour late, the boy. Is Donald the drop? I mean, there's now a hashtag, Trump is dead, on X. He's not been around for 3 days. Everybody's worrying about him. I mean, he had the presidential equivalent of a stoma bag attached. So is the Donald alive? Or are they going to do a Biden on us? Auto pen and somebody wearing a mask. Possibly Jim Carrey. Who knows? I mean, I'm talking about the Biden, not President Shitty Pants, not the Orange Man. Well, I'll start with the Douggee update. I'm not going to go to your comments tonight. I may save most of those for tomorrow night. TMG, I'd buy Starmer. Oh, Soul Rebel. Working the spelling out there. Is he visiting Giuliani? Rudy Giuliani was in a car crash. Not a Virginia Giuffre kind of car crash, but it might be, because we don't know. It might be. Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York, has been in a car crash and is not very well, seemingly. And Giuliani was one of the main advisors for the Trump. So let's get to Douggee, because in my view, we're all being trolled by him. Do I believe he went to probation today? No. I have a few reasons behind that, which I'll tell you about in a second. Let me get to. What have I done with it? Where's it gone? Fact. Hang on. What am I doing? Let me just hang on. There's something really weird going on with my feed from YouTube, and I'm just making sure that it's right. Ghetto defendant, I would get Starmer a blowjob from a crocodile. Or Janice Free Porter, same thing. Aidan Wellsmith, who cares, Adrian? It's all great entertainment, better than anything on the BBC. Oh, I say. And then the rain appears. There's nothing better in life than newly cut grass. And if you smell newly cut grass, that's the grass telling the rest of the grass, oh, we're being murdered. But the sounds, I am an audiophile, definitely. And I love the sound of rain. Just on the flora and fauna outside. Beautiful. Anyway, Douggee. So, I see you. Douggee loves it. He overestimates his ride. His next stop to get off is nearer than he thinks. That's very well put. I see you. Very well put. It wouldn't let me say David Icke in the comments. I know, Alan. I know. I have contacted David via his website, because, as I say, I have his home telephone number. I mean, if they don't reply, I'm going to call his home number and tell him who I am. But I will guarantee you now that because of the draw of David, that hang on, Aidan, I'll get to it in a second. Because he's a draw for channels who are trying to build their subscriber base and stuff and likes and clicks and all that kind of stuff. They want a name that's going to be a draw. But I've been watching David, bought his books, and interviewed him on the BBC. And my interview with David on the BBC And I maintain that's why I was let go from the BBC, because of David Icke and a porn star called Ron Jeremy that I did an interview with, which made people's hair curl. But do you know the thing is, the BBC think that the old folk are kind of past it. But the old folk know exactly who Ron Jeremy was, or is. He's in jail now. He's Doolally. He's in a mental hospital, isn't he? New mown grass, bad smell, mate, if no one has cut their grass. It's the smell of phosgene poisonous gas. Ask any old soldier. I get it, Teddy. I do get it. Thankfully, not in Sunderland. So they presume that we're over the hill, yet the people that are shagging the most are not the kids, not the Gen Z or Gen X or, the 30-somethings. It's anybody over 50-year-old, like a barn door in a storm. Anyway, I digress. So, Dougie Rayner jumped the gun on the looting. Try opening the fridge door and staring inside for a couple of minutes and closing it and walking away empty-handed. You've been living in my house, Des. Pride comes before a fall, and Ginger has a huge one coming, says Dougie. So that's what I was going to do. I was going to, and I have purposefully punched the absolute living bejesus out of that. Oh no, I don't want that. That's MSNBC. Shite, man. Let me just check. Because I did no. Oh, come on, Adrian, what the bloody hell? I'm going to talk Churchill tonight, because someone said something to me about. Well, I said Churchill had turned the guns on his own people, and young Laird Wuckfit put me right. So I thought, out of respect for young Laird Wuckfit, I'm going to do my own research, and I have, and I'm going to tell you tonight. Politicians, Trump. What the? Honestly, I swear to God, I wrote this down, and because I'm putting so much down in... Where the feck? Hang on. Oh, that's 2:30. Bear with me, caller. Apologies for this, but I've been working on this all day. I can't believe. Have I deleted it? Fuck. Ah! Bloody hell. Anyway, Dougie. For the third birthday party, kind of ish, we're going to do the usual stuff because I know you enjoy it. But we'll... Tomorrow night is the third anniversary, the day the channel was created, not the day the first video went up. We're nearly at 10,000 subs. We're not kicking the backside away. So if you can tell all your friends, as Scotty would say, tell 10 to tell 10, we'll get over the hump of 10,000, and then a lot of other things kick in. So we've got a few little celebrations over the next few weeks and months. But bring your Battenberg, some announcements for tomorrow night, and young Dougie. So I'll start again. Young Dougie. I think he's trolling everyone. Why would I say that? Well, there is a question that's on the tip of my tongue, and I don't understand why nothing's been done about it. He said that there are allegations of sexual assault by a prison officer. He made those. Why haven't they been investigated by HMP? Mind you, he said to me right in the very beginning on a video, apologise, take the videos down or I'm going to the police. Okay, thank you. Nothing's happened. Fireworks are going to start soon, don't worry. So 3 things. I'm just going to give you 3, rather than kind of go over the old stuff ad nauseum. I'm just going to give you 3 things. So the building he went into wasn't probation, because he put the probation office on a previous video, and it looks nothing like the building that he went into today. Remember that? So, building he went into with his bag. Bless him. Obviously loves being a con. Can't take his bag off. So the building he was at was on probation. The video had too much technical content to have been knocked out within an hour of him coming out of the meeting. Remember the last video? Because the last video when he went into probation, the probation office, the weekend before, he looked very, very, very ill. He wasn't a happy puppy at all. You could see it in his face. He wasn't happy at all. Yet today, it was a mere bagatelle. Well, it wasn't anything really. So I don't believe that video, comparative to the last one where he was walking around Nottingham and actually taking a video of kids playing in Nottingham, which you're not allowed to do. You need permissions to film other people. And you kind of can, but not kids. And the best thing to do is actually stay away from filming kids and putting it up on YouTube. So today's video was nothing like the other video where we knew he'd been to probation. We knew he was getting his ass kicked. We just didn't know whether he was going back in or not. And he had a major league bollocking from probation. But the video today, there was too many cuts, splices, technicalities, stuff in there, inserts. There was too much going on for that video to have been made this morning. And the CID, police will tell you, there are certain, they call them tells. And he was over postulating, I would suggest. So opening my bag, I've got my bag, it's got all my stuff in. I'm going to take all this stuff inside, and I've got this, and I've got that, and I've got. If he was scared shitless about going back to prison, he wouldn't have been doing that to camera. He would have been like, need to go in, need to get this sorted. But I would suggest that he hasn't got much material. He hasn't. So this has been another video, and I believe that he's trolling everybody. And so that was two things. You want another thing? Another thing? A random punter turns up to buy his book or 2 copies of the book. Just happened to be in the same place as him. Do I look like I got off the last banana boat? That's a setup, man. So how could he set somebody up to meet him? Because he wouldn't know how long the meeting was going to be. He wouldn't know whether he was going to get out of the probation office. He suggested that he might be going back down. Now, I know that large wheels grind slowly. And everything in an HMP and the Department of Justice, those particular wheels will grind slowly. And Mapper and probation will make sure that they've got all their boxes ticked and everything's right, so that he has no comeback whatsoever when they say to him, right, you're coming with us. So I've given you 3 things today that couldn't have happened if he was just going to probation, as he did last time. We have the baseline of him going to probation from the last video when he thought he was going back to jail. This one, he knew he wasn't, and I would suggest, I have no corroboration, but I would suggest he's had it in a letter. And I have to say this again, because I know that he's a pathological liar. He's lied in the High Court in 2 separate cases. That's a course of conduct, so I'm allowed to call him a liar any time that I want because of that course of conduct. And in those 2 cases, he admitted to being a liar. So he says he's got a book that's been banned. Well, his license, because remember, and I'll get back to what I was saying. Remember that it's a license. He's out of prison on license, and he has to adhere to the license conditions. No ifs, ands, buts, or maybes. He's got to adhere to those license conditions. And if he doesn't, then probation and/or Mapper and/or HMP are more than within their legal rights to take him back into prison, but it's got to go up to the Home Office. This doesn't have to be presented to a judge. It won't be. It'll go straight back up to the top of the Home Office, the very top of the food chain that he's pissing off. So, look, they will do what they're going to do when he decides, when they decide he needs to go back in. But remember, he cannot profit from his incarceration. He cannot. He's not Jeffrey Archer. He doesn't have the power, the influence, or the money for that matter. So he cannot profit from his incarceration. They're not banned his books. First one was released. It's my autobiography. Well, you and the psychologists inside were giving you a helping hand. So if he's had a book banned, why did he have the books on him? And he charged the boy 35 quid for 2 books. At least Dick Turpin wore a fucking mask. You can get it. Well, you can't get it cheaper on Amazon. They haven't or are not publishing. But you can look. You can submit a book to Amazon. They will print it and do everything that you need. His books do not have an ISBN number, so they're not real books. They're not, which is possibly why Amazon are not selling it, because it doesn't have an ISBN number. Check. Doesn't have an ISBN number. And my final point here is this. There are 2 things here that I believe everyone is conflating. There are his license restrictions and his restraining orders. And I will reiterate. The license restrictions are the license restrictions. Most of them are standard restrictions on any prisoner coming out of prison on license. They're standard. And he's had nearly 3 months of probation visiting him every week. And I'm sure it gets to 3 months and then it'll be like, no, we're not going to come and visit you anymore. They may decide another 3 months. They may decide sometime inside, say, 28 days would be appropriate to get him to stop doing what he's doing, breaching his license restrictions. But book 3, his time in the slammer, yes. So book 2 is the trial. And that is wrapped up so tightly in these restraining orders that he cannot talk about it in any way, shape or form. And if you publish a book about it, that's possibly, and I'll reiterate this, any breach of a restraining order imposed by a court carries a jail sentence, because it's illegal, up to 5 years. Now, it would be down to the court to depend on, well, it's one book, so it's one breach, or all of the stuff in the book carries breaching the restraining orders. It could be 1 breach, 10 breaches, 20 breaches. Each breach of the restraining orders carries, thank you for that, carries a jail sentence of 5 years. Let me have a look at this. I would suggest, looking at Trump, that there has been something going on. Look at the state of his hair or his weave. And normally they've got people running around and making sure that he looks pristine when he's on camera. Yeah, there's definitely something going on. I don't... well, he doesn't look very well at all. So Donald is up. Thank you, Napoleon. Terry Wookford's correct. He's been demonetized. Oh, thank you, Bad Wolf Project. The video was shot outside Nottingham 1 next to Dambusters Studios. Not probation. So I don't know. I don't know whether it was shot yesterday. Yeah, I know he's 79, Gene Psychic, but he's got all. He's the most powerful man in the Western world. So he's got all these people running. I'm not talking about Dougie. The Donald. He has all of these people running around after him, and if they know that he is going to do an appearance on TV, makeup girl, hair, everything, he will be primped and preened up to his eyeballs for the camera. For the worldwide camera, because the cameras are always on him. And I don't, just, he doesn't look right. He genuinely doesn't look right. Soul Rebel says Charlie Veach is a bit different, as he's more of a city centre dock maker. Yeah. Hopefully hands over to Vance either temporarily or as 48. Be very interesting, Terry. Post the location, Adrian. Already have done, Paulie. It's outside Nottingham 1, next to Dambuster Studios. But I mean, he could have, but he was intimating that he was running into the building with his bag for the meeting with probation. Probation doesn't meet at Nottingham 1. They meet at the probation office, which we saw in the probation video a little while ago, 2 weeks ago. So he's trolling you. From me, he's trolling you. Yeah, Andrew James says Trump showing his age these days, even with makeup on. I agree with you that his weave is not, it's not looking right. Oi, oi, oi. Oh, double bagger yet again, keeping me going. Binky Boo says, I don't think Trump is as vain as people think. I've seen Trump look worse than this. Beata, thank you. Don Wigley, was Dougie sent back to the... No, he wasn't. So I believe this is how it laid out with Dougie. He got a letter from probation saying, we're not allowing you to publish that second book because you can't profit from your incarceration. And the third book is called Surviving the Slammer, I think. So he's not allowed. He's allowed to publish his own biography or an autobiography. He's allowed to publish that because that's about him and his life and stuff and showbiz and stuff. But talking about HMP and the Slammer and what goes on inside, he's absolutely categorically not allowed to do it. It's part of his license agreement that he will not bring into disrepute HMP. If you Google Notts College on Street View, Notts 1 is dead opposite on the A608. That's interesting because he was... I think he wasn't far from there where he met that guy. Because he said, oh, we're outside the courts. You remember the courts that I was at court at? And I thought, that's the Crown Court. I think it must have been the Mags. It must have been the magistrates I went to in Nottingham because it doesn't look anything like the court that I went to. Space Command is being moved to Alabama. Yeehaw! Thank you, Terry. So, Rebel, look how Starmer's aged in 12 months. Yeah. 63 going on. 163. Gene Psychic. Dougie thinks he's the centre of the universe. He has some talents, but not enough to make it big time, showtime. I agree, Gene. I agree. But my narrative, or rather my advice to him and his team has been consistent from the very get-go. When he comes out, head down, disappear for a while. Dust yourself down. But he gets his validation from his audience. And he needs his audience like oxygen. Which is why I believe it was so traumatic for him inside. Because initially he was going, it's like being on a cruise. And then it wasn't. And now he's complaining that Fossway has like multiple murders and it's a really bad place. I thought it was like a cruise. So pick a lane. I agree, Jane. I completely agree. The video of him and his fan was shot on Rancliffe Street, less than 50 yards from Notts 1. Okay. I did laugh when the old boy who was buying the books said, I wanted a T-shirt. And Dougie went, yeah, there's the T-shirt. He said, I'm not having that one. It's got fluff on it. It's got stuff on it. And he was giving Dougie a hard time. Now, I'm surprised that Dougie was so accommodating. The Magistrate Court and Crown Court are co-located in Nottingham Courthouse. So, if that's the case, Terry, he was nowhere near the courthouse because I've been there. I mean, I used to live in Nottingham, so I know it quite well. So, well, maybe it was kind of down the road, around the corner, and it was quite close. I mean, closer than a lot of us watching this. But the fact that he broke into Jimmy Savile today, what is that all about? Doesn't he understand? I mean, I know he's met him and interviewed him, but doesn't he know how Savile is reviled? The whole country. I mean, even those that loved him. So, Beata said, he said the prison psychologist said there was nothing wrong with him. Now, that certainly isn't true, but he shouldn't be ashamed of having mental health issues. Les, it was yes, I'll explain that in a second. Beata, I agree. Look, we're all human. We're all infallible. Some of us don't end up in Crown Court. That's all. And pretty much most of the people here don't end up in jail. So, brilliant. He was heckled by a plant aide. He's still using other talents' lines. Blow nose until pressure equalizes was Scotty's from when Dougie was in primary school. Fart Ed is another Scotty. 1-2 buckle my shoe is a Scotty. I mean, he takes a lot of Scotty stuff. The thing is, though, some of the lines that he takes belong to others that are now dead. Stuart says, I remember him saying they spent 4 hours talking to him and gave up because they couldn't find anything wrong with him. Let me tell you something. This is my view of things. I don't think that's real. That might be in Dougie's head, but I don't think it's real. I think the psychologists, the clinical psychologists, all the different flavors of psychology, the psychologists and some of the probationists, they'll be using this to get their PhD. This guy, Dougie, will be celebrated in certain circles, not for the right reasons, but they will say, a bit like anybody with notoriety, shall we say, is you have the psychologists going, mine, I want him, because they want to be able to say at dinner parties and cocktail parties, oh, do you know that Dougie? Yeah, I assessed him. I was the one that assessed him, and that's what my PhD was on, because they're all looking up the greasy pole, and a PhD in this would get them, look, they could dine out around the world about this, because I'm telling you, people around the world know what's going on, and so do the probation officers, and so do the psychologists, all the different flavors. They all want in, they all want skin in the game so that they can get their PhD. They want to be a doctor, they want to be a professor, and he facilitates that. So, and I'm not going to, besmirch or badmouth him. I'm just giving my overview as a social commentator. And also, I've had skin in this particular game. So I'll tell you, the psychologists, oh, Jesus, they'll be so excited, which is why he has said that different probation officers have gone to his house. Of course, they all want in. They all want in the game, because this is promotion for them. They'll get up there. Oh, yeah, we'll have a bit of this. And the psychologists, welcome back, young Dougie, mate. Well, right, let's go and talk. And I have an announcement to make tomorrow night. Mephistopheles, Trump's been on speckled doves all weekend. What goes up? Hug drug. Evening, Stephen Hall. Evening to everybody else that's in the body of the Kirk. So, that's my... and I will reiterate this, that I will only comment on young Dougie when there's something new. Because unless there's something new, it just becomes tedious. Absolutely tedious. And when I have to do my research, around Dougie, I just feel grubby. I just need to go and have a shower to kind of get that toxicity off me and away from me. So I would suggest also, it's not an if, it's a when. So let's just leave it at that. We have more important things to talk about, lots of more important things to talk about. Andy Turner, does he make money from his channel? Yes, but from what I can gather, he's flogging off everything. So for the old Newton law, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So why is he getting rid of his tat? Oh, and do you know the shushy thing? Etsy, 25 quid, and he's flogging it for 109. Look, a fool and his money are soon parted. So if they're paying 109 quid for that and you get it on Etsy for 25 quid, somebody else has done the research and emailed it to me. Thank you very much to the anonymous emailer. People, I mean, he can't be, who said that? Gene Psychic says he's short of cash. I don't believe he is. I know the kind of money that went through his hands. So I don't suggest he is. The visible liquidity, maybe. Karina Jane, got that. Thank you. Watched it for 10 seconds. Napoleon Bonaparte. Donald is talking about drugs from... Oh, Napoleon blown apart. So we'll get into that before we get into anything else, because I was going to mention Venezuela. Why would I want to do that, you ask, Reverend? Because I keep telling you, the 6 central banks that they're after. Trump may be the president of the United States, but the Rothschilds are worth about $500 trillion worth of assets and liquidity. So they own the money, the money. So I keep telling you, 6 central banks: China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, Hungary, and Venezuela. So at the moment, they're trying to knock off the 2 weaker ones, which is Hungary. They've been in the news. So why would Venezuela be in the news if the Donald's going, oi, you bunch of arses, right? Stop that, otherwise we're coming in. So, Binky Boo, no, we don't do that here. We tend to avoid like the plague, but obviously you're a subscriber to his website, and that kind of question. Not happening on my channel. So see what I said earlier about double agents? So you've got the 6 countries. Just keep an eye on those countries. Iraq's gone, Syria's gone, a few others have gone, but the only European central bank that the Rothschilds don't own is Hungary. And in the South Americas, the only central bank that they don't have is Venezuela. And Venezuela is one of the biggest oil and gas producing countries in the world. So they might want to have the central banks, but I'm telling you, Trump talking about Biden's ill health. President Shitty Pants on this channel. Well, you don't muck about. So, I'm loving this. Those that are watching it and keep typing and keep telling me what he's talking about. So please be aware, if Venezuela ever makes it into the news, you know what they're after. They're not telling you the truth. Hungary, Ursula von der Leyen bitch, you know what they're after. Oh, did you hear that the Russians tried to crash her plane that she was on? Oh, it's getting a bit naughty. So Ursula von der Leyen bitch was on this private jet, and seemingly it was cyber attacked, and they lost control of the plane. As I keep telling you, Global Hawk, being able to fly a plane without a pilot. Global Hawk. It's been around for 30 years or more. So they have planes that don't have pilots on. Now, they're not going to tell you, oh, there's not a pilot and a co-pilot up there. Don't worry. We've got everybody up and down the trolley dollies who'll look after you. But there's no pilot and there's no co-pilot because it's all Global Hawk. It's all remote control. And Ursula von der Leyen, nearly. She's not happy. Oi, 7 kids. Shags a bit. Didn't see my lips move. Bad Wolf Project. Trump talking about yeah. Retro on his bikes. Welcome to the body of the Kirk Young Retro. He's now taking press questions. Who did you hear before the press conference, Mr. President? Did Buddy Holly's plane have Global Hawk? No, Neil, that was a little bit too early. They didn't put Global Hawk into planes until 1990s-ish. Oh, by the way, where is it? Oh, bagger, there. I don't know whether you can see this. I know it's going to be reversed, but can you see that? Can you see that? It says Storming Heaven. That book by Dale Brown, not Dan Brown, that book by Dale Brown was the blueprint for 9/11. That book right there, you can pick up for a £5, read it, and it'll make your hair curl because it's 9/11 writ large a few years before 9/11. The EU GPS tale about Russia is bollocks. GPS is from transmitter receiver to satellites, not via ground stations. So Russia jamming satellite signals would have a much bigger impact. Oh, I say. Retro's a bit seasick today. The sea was rough. Oh, sorry to hear that, Retro. And you've got sea legs, proper sea legs. So, yes, Ursula von der Leyen. So please, please just keep in the back of there. Because people will wonder how comes you're psychic. Because it's not, this is not chaos. It's planned. All of it's planned. They just want to get into us and make sure that they get the central banks. So, should we go with question 1? Let's have a look. Yeah, question 1. It's away from geopolitics, but we will get into that in just a moment. Question 1. You have one concert ticket, but it's 19... Who's done that? Alan, you're wrong. But it's 1985. So who are you going to see? You have one concert ticket, but it's 1985. Who are you going to see? And that's when all the stadium rock, the Springsteen and Prince, and all the big stadium Madonnas and Jackson, all the big stadium artists. Mephistopheles, Shakin' Stevens, Behind the Green Door. Mephistopheles, Queen, of course, yeah, in 85. Ricky Nelson, John Denver, Billy Joel, Bowie, Queen. Wham, you could have had Wham in 85, Michelle. Rubet Tribute Band, says Les Griffiths. Des Ashton, Sonny. The Osric Tentacles. Duran, Bowie, Beatles. Ooh, 2 of them were dead by 85. No, 1 was dead by 85. When did George Harrison die? In the 90s? Genesis, not a bad shout. Tiny Tim, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Rubettes, U2. Rubettes, ooh, baby. Yeah, all that malarkey. Money has become very time-limited tokens now, says Retro. Queen, Live Aid. I was wondering when somebody was going to say Live Aid again. Timmy Mallets, Timmy Knee Bollocks. Live Aid, all those great acts for charity. Oh, Led Zeppelin, you can't see Led Zeppelin from Live Aid. They're not happy. They weren't happy with the quality. The Goombay Dance Band. It was the Goombay something dance band. George Harrison, he was still alive, Soul Rebel. The Jam, Les Griffiths. The Cool, says David Graham. And Blondie, Tears for Fears. Bizarrely, I preferred Everybody Wants to Run the World rather than Everybody Wants to Rule the World, because Everybody Wants to Run the World had a bit of a brass remix on it, which I thought was most spiffing, really. Gary Glitter, was he out of jail then? Paulie Galtieri, Terry Woodford, The Police. Give more money to Sting so he can laugh at his brother and Copeland. Yeah. Oh, they're not happy, are they? The 2 other band members are suing Sting for royalties. Well, he bloody wrote the songs. Be interesting once it gets to court. Rolling Stones, yeah. Live Aid, best 16 quid I ever spent, says Bad Wolf Project. Dire Straits, The Clash, All Day Long, Mark 85. And a bit of Judas Priest. Any decent goth band? Oh, Napoleon Bonaparte. I would fancy seeing Bauhaus for Kick in the Eye. Who were the other goth bands that I really, really liked? Human League wasn't really goth, but kind of bits of goth. Who else? But definitely Bauhaus, Kick in the Eye. What a tune that was. Songs from the Big Chair. Oi, oi, oi. Black Lace, Mephistopheles. You're a pervert. Mephistopheles, Black Lace, man. Honestly, you need some more Altamine and some Battenberg. Sit down, take a breather, loosen your tie off. Anything but Black Lace. Spandau Ballet, Duran, says Beata. AC/DC, says Carl Shaw. Simple Minds, Peter Frampton. Oh, Peter Frampton, what was his live thing? Oh, God, I've played it on the radio a million. Paul Mabley, Marillion. But was it the Fish Marillion or was it the Post-Fish Marillion? And I interviewed somebody on BBC Newcastle, one of the Marillion band members, and bless them, they got in contact with the station saying that's one of the best radio interviews we've ever done. Can we have a copy of it for our website? Talking Heads, or what's the song, Armageddon? Do you know who nobody ever talks about, who I think were amazing? Napoleon Bonaparte says The Mission, Sisters of Mercy, Cult, Cure. Yeah, all them. Bauhaus, Kick in the Eye. The band from sort of the 80s, late 80s, early 90s was Talk. And nobody gives them credit. They released some monster hits. Talk, It's My Life, Talk. Jesus, the videos were quite good too, but they, Show Me the Way. Thank you, Les Griffiths. Frampton from the 70s. That's a tune. That is a proper tune. Penny for Your Thoughts. Carl Warby. Yeah. And again, Terry Wookford. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I played Two Tribes on my radio show on Saturday, and it still sounds as fresh today. So does Relax. And this is 40 years later. I mean, Susie and the Banshees. You know, Alan, I've got a soft spot, well, a hard spot for Susie. David Graham, what about Bananarama, the Bangles? No, David, they were 90s. This is 1985, man. Specials, yeah. Neil Cunningham. Fish, real name Derek Dick. Make your own, hang on. Make your own punchline. Okay. Stephen Hall says, remember Talk. Very well. Brilliant. AC/DC were the first band I saw live, 14 years old, back in Black Tour. Henry Smith. I bet they were simply magnificent. And there's, according to Bad Wolf Project, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Still not, I mean, I know quite a bit of Young's singles stuff, but I still can't quite get into him. Psychedelic Furs, according to Don Wigley. Yeah, Psychedelic Furs, that was what did they do? There was some fantastic, Les Griffith says The Power of Love was a good tune. There were some fantastic bands. Mine is Half Man, Half Biscuit. The creativity and the lyricism and the tunage and the fact that they didn't absolutely give a flying about the music industry. They just wanted to do it for fun. They weren't in it for the money or, the stuff. They just wanted to play tunes. And Half Man, Half Biscuit, if you've never listened to them, just listen to stuff like the Len Ganley Stance or Doesn't Time Fly When You're the Driver of a Train. Absolutely fantastic. Wonderful. Toy Dolls as well. Ghetto Defendant. Yeah, I agree. Olga, the lead singer, he was a character. And then there's David Bevan, Dina Carroll. Yeah, she had a voice, has a voice. And some great songs, great songs. Oh, Carl Shaw, Thin Lizzy, Middlesbrough Town Hall. Was that before Phil Lynott kind of popped his clogs? Because Thin Lizzy in my teenage years were proper band. Proper. Me and the Boys are wondering how you and the girls are getting home from here tonight, which is the B-side to Whiskey in the Jar. Me and the Boys. What a tune that is. Water Boys, Whole of the Moon, Dave Johnston. Yeah. Mephistopheles, Beastie Boys. Yeah. Three Jewish kids, weren't they? Beastie Boys. Roxette and Texas, the lead singer of Texas lives near me. What? Currently Beata. Oh, what's she called again? Carl Shaw, he died in 86. It's a real shame. Real shame about Phil Lynott. Anyway, shall we get on? So, thank you for that question. I should have left it the last and then done music for the last hour. Either somebody's loosing off guns because somebody's not happy, but there's fireworks going off if you can hear it in the background. So I just want to say, if I can, R.I.P. to Joe Bugner. He was always the heel in the fights. He fought Ali twice, followed by Joe Bugner and some terrifying heavyweights. Some of them were at the top of their game. And he was... Joe Bugner from, I never met him, but I've met people that have, and they say he was an absolute gentleman. But, he sold tickets. That's the name of the game. Sell tickets, make a few bob and bugger off, or Bugner off. So Joe Bugner, R.I.P. for yesterday. It was so sad to hear. But, some of our heroes and some of those with a little bit of notoriety are starting to fall off their perch, whether it's jibber jabber related or not. It's getting to that place where we're getting older and they're getting older, and people that we knew and revered are also getting very older. Charlene Spiteri, thank you, Beata. She married a Welsh chef, did she? Yeah, Charlene Spiteri was the lead singer with Texas. Joe Cocker, what a voice he had, Karina Jane. Soul Rebel, Billy McKenzie. Oh, Party Fears 2. I mean, there's not a vocal that's got anywhere near. Maybe Freddie. But Billy McKenzie, I mean, the Associates, Party Fears 2 is a... honestly, I could just sit and listen to that for half an hour. Thank you for reminding me, Soul Rebel. He did have a magnificent and beautiful voice. Napoleon Bonaparte says, Joe Bugner, after he beat Henry, the world hated him. Well, I know. And it was always going to be thus. Whomever, I mean, Henry Cooper was a national treasure. So anybody that kind of ended his career was always going to live under that cloud. And I felt quite sorry for Joe Bugner because it's boxing, for goodness sake. People are meant to box the lugs off the other person. Tom Harney's Girls' School, first band I saw, Hit and Run tour. Kelly broke her G-string. I'm sure, must have been looking at you, Tom. But Girls' School, didn't they do, I've got the 10-inch somewhere, didn't they do a song with Motorhead? I can't remember the name of it. Terry Woodford's telling Beata, Charlene Spiteri married Bryn Williams. She won't go hungry. Stephen Hall, so many radio DJs from my youth have died, and mine, Stephen. Some of them are still kicking and flinging, though, which is good news. Saw Hue and Cry last year. They're as good as ever. My favourite, Hue and Cry. Oh, come on, Adrian. Hue and Cry, man. Hue and Cry. Labour of Love. Hue and Cry they created the perfect radio song. It's got, for anybody who does any radio presenting, Mephistopheles, I've got his 10-inch somewhere. Size Queen. Braggadocious. The Labour of Love by Hue and Cry. It has a great intro that you can voice over. So there's something in radio called forward progression, where the last song ends and you get into the intro of the next song as quickly as possible, because you're trying to ride a crest of a wave and the listener wants to stay on the top of the crest of the wave as it's moving along. So you take two songs and you fill the gap there, and it's called forward progression. You get onto the intro as quickly as possible. And Labour of Love gives you, was it an 18 or 24 second intro? But it's like a real punchy intro. Great song, great middle, and then right at the end it's like bam bam. So it's a dead end, and you can keep tight and go into an ad break, or you can go into another song, or you can go into something else. But it's one of the most perfect radio songs ever made. And I love playing it on the radio because you can have so much fun with it as a presenter. I know that's full of technicalities, and you're probably not aware of what we do on the radio other than tunes come out. But for me, Labour of Love is a great radio song. Van Morrison and Them, Brown Eyed Girl, not Brown Eyed Girl. Have I told you lately that I love you? And that piano intro, every single time, it just gets the hair on the back of my neck up. Please Don't Touch. Oh, that was it, Matthew Eden. Motorhead and Girls' School, cover of a Johnny Kidd song, and it was 10 inches. I've got two of them. Andrew James, Glitter didn't care about race, just their age. I know. Godly and Cream, Under Your Thumb. That's another great song. And I was looking at 10cc, I'm Not in Love, the other day. Somebody had deconstructed it because it was all voices. I don't think there was an instrument on it. It was all voices. And it's, I think, one of including Des Ashton, Vienna by Ultravox, one of the OMD, yes, Adam Whale, Enola Gay, that's a spectacular song. But 10cc's I'm Not in Love is, maybe by some Beatles songs, but it was so beautiful at the time that it's one of those greatly revered love songs. Gimme Shelter intro gives me goosebumps, says TMG. Had London Beat singing in the back of my cab in the day. Did you really, Rusty Roamings? And I interviewed them. I interviewed London Beat. And oh God, there was a guy in London Beat who had been in a band called the Olympic Runners, and was like a proper Brit funk guy. And when I interviewed them at Rock FM, I didn't realise that he'd been in the Olympic Runners. And back then, it was one of my favourite. And I talked to him about it. And the rest of the band were a bit pissed off because I'd kind of made something of the Olympic Runners rather than just London Beat. But nice guys all the same. If you get a chance to see 10cc, go, says Carl Shaw. Oh, I'm sure, with Godley and Cream. Didn't Godley and Cream come up with a new instrument that you could play of some kind? Prefab Sprout was one I went into at the time, but I wasn't into at the time, but I like their songs. And I met Paddy McAloon. He doesn't go by Paddy anymore. I think is it his brother or him that's changed his name? Because he was super, super, super shy. And I did this interview with Paddy from Prefab Sprout at Rock FM. And it was tough, but because he was so gentle and quite engaging, I just talked to him about being a wordsmith and a tunesmith. So again, great talent, but didn't actually achieve the heights that he should have done. Soul Rebel, I'm Mandy, Fly Me was my fave 10cc song. Yeah, but it's this. If you can find it it's on YouTube somewhere. I was just looking at some music videos, and this guy deconstructed I'm Not in Love, and it's just breathtakingly beautiful. Breathtaking. But I'm Mandy, Fly Me. Wang Chung, Dance Hall Day, says David Bevan. Oh, I think Wang Chung were one of the first bands I played on the radio ever back in the day. Head Over Heels by Headpins is a great heavy rock album from 1985. Andrew, I better check that one out. Bad Out of Hell, says Garen Davis, but it's got to be the album version with the piano intro at the beginning. Level 42. Oh, Ghetto Defendant, you tart. Level 42. Come on, Adrian. Love Meeting Love. On the, was it Record Shack label before they changed record labels? Love Meeting Love. What a tune. Proper Brit funk and kind of jazzy, funky. And I have met Level 42 and interviewed them. Mark King, that he was explaining why his thumb's covered in tape when he plays, because he plays on the 16th on the bass, so it's like rather than the drums doing the 16th on the drums. Did I get too technical there for you? But Level 42, Ghetto Defendant, absolutely. David Graham says another OMD and Souvenir 1981 classics. I'm with you. I am with you. Bad Wolf says I interviewed Milli Vanilli in 1989. Comedy opening, Bad Wolf Project. Pinball by Brian Prothero was a great song in 1974. Don't know that. Do I know that one? Brian Prothero. What's retro just said? Ghetto Defendant, another one. Flock of Seagulls. I ran with that haircut. I would have done. Stephen Hull, Shack Attack, great soul jazz band. Stephen, the Level 42 were on the same record label to start with, and I'm sure it was called Record Shack. And Shack Attack were in the day, and didn't they merge into Stars on 45 or something? The two guys behind Shack Attack. I'm sure they ended up being Stars on 45, if you can remember that. Terry Wookfit. So we're going to get into the sermon soon. Grumpy old tart. So, yes. Should we do the Churchill mythology before I get into Three Eye Atlas and the Strictly Fat Jabs and France going to war and Germany going to war and stuff? Venezuela. Do you know anything about MK Often? Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Trump. Where's he been? God wants us to diggity for victory. Going to talk about that, as in, knocking kids out. Going to talk about that. But let me find, is it there? No. Shite, man. I'm going to talk Churchill out of respect for a member of the body of the Kirk. Because I said a couple of lives ago, Churchill, back in the beginning of the last century, when he was a liberal, turned the rifles on his own people. And then the anonymous emailer, he knows who he is, said, no, I think you've got that wrong. So I thought, right, I'll do my research, because I'm happy to learn. If you want to give me information that's going to be either a better presenter or more intelligent and briefed presenter, I'm all for it. So if you're sitting comfortably, I'll tell you I was wrong. It doesn't take much to admit that I was wrong, because I'll always admit I'm wrong when I'm wrong. So no, Winston Churchill did not turn the guns on his own people in a literal sense, though the claim that he sent the troops to fire on striking miners in Tonopandi in 1910 is a persistent myth. Actually, according to the International Churchill Society, instead, police were sent with troops in reserve. And the situation was obviously less violent than the myth suggests in Tonopandi. However, Churchill did participate in handling the 1919 Battle of George Square in Glasgow slightly differently, where there were calls for troops to be used to quell a strike that Churchill and others viewed as Bolshevist rising. So the Tonopandi incident in 1910, the myth, the claim that Churchill sent troops to fire on miners during the 1910 Tonopandi riots, leading to deaths and injuries. The reality, as Home Secretary, Churchill consulted the War Office and agreed to send police rather than troops to the area. Troops were held in reserve but not deployed to fire on the miners. Now, the controversy was that despite this, the story of Churchill ordering soldiers to fire on striking miners became a persistent part of his socialist demonology. So let's get on to the Battle of George Square in 1919. So after a major workers' strike in Glasgow, Churchill, then Secretary of State for War, took a hard line against the strikers. Bloody Bolsheviks! Well, they're all Scots. They're all mad and red up there. Churchill's stance was that he viewed the situation as a potential Bolshevist rising and advocated for strong measures, suggesting a conflict would be necessary to resolve the situation and that troops could be used effectively once the moment was right. So what was the outcome? Well, while not directly ordering troops to fire on the public, Churchill's actions and rhetoric were instrumental in the government's decision to use force to suppress the strike, contributing to the significant confrontation at George Square. So technically, I was wrong. Technically, the anonymous emailer will now be having a celebrating tincture, just to say, got one up on the rev. So thank you for that. I'm always, always, always happy to learn. Always. So having done my research, anonymous emailer was right. I'm going to tell you in just a moment that you know Angela Rayner's been sacked, don't you? Really, Reverend? Oh, yes. But technically they can't sack her. So what have they done? Are you sitting comfortably? Because I know there'll be other YouTubers watching this, using this. So I'm going to edit this and put it up in the morning. So I believe that Angela Rayner has been sacked. How can I come up with something so ridiculous, Rev? It's easy. So Alistair Campbell was quoted over the weekend as saying that when it was him and Tony Blair making a right ham-fisted go of things, they used to have a rule. And the rule was, if a story lasted longer than 11 days, they would ask the person the story was about to stand aside. Because they had to get rid of the story somehow. They had to manage the press, manage the stories, had to manage everything. Now, he's been quoted as telling that story over the last few days. So, I'll give it to you straight. If a story lasts longer than 11 days, step aside. Now, this story's been going for longer than 11 days. So are they going to tell Angela Rayner to step aside? Well, they can't, because she was elected as deputy. She wasn't appointed, she was elected. So, according to the press today, and this story's going to run and run and run. I don't know how they're going to get around it. Well, I do, and I'm going to tell you in a second. There's a court order which restricts Angela Rayner from providing further information around her financials. So there is a litany of accusations. So if they can't sack her because she was elected, then what are they going to do? Well, Sir Keir Starmer's not daft all day, is he? So I told you a few lives ago that Starmer saw Rayner as a threat to his prime ministerialship. So he wanted her gone. I'm sure. It's his birthday. What better birthday present? That the main person who could take your job as Prime Minister is gone. So what have the Labour Party done? They haven't come out and argued about it like a bunch of silly old tarts. No, they haven't argued. The Prime Minister, that's Sir Keir Starmer, just in case you're wondering, he's still in office. He's appointed a new Deputy Prime Minister. So what does that mean, Reverend? It means that they've appointed Darren Jones to a new office that's never been used before. It's Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister. Isn't that the Deputy Prime Minister's post? Yeah. Well, no, it's different. It's new. But it's the Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister. In other words, ipso facto, it's the bloody Deputy Prime Minister. So what they've done is, because Rayner is just as rough as a badger's arse and now is toxic because the whole country believes that she's avoided paying 40 grand in taxes, for want of a better term, they need to get rid of her. Because the Labour Party are literally in damage control at the moment. They've only been in a year. All of them are mucking up and screwing up, and like you wouldn't believe, whether it's private jets or whether it's not paying taxes or whether it's paying 5 grand for a takeaway, you fat tart. It's the Labour Party's just crumbling. It's finished. It's over. It's done. But they want to stay in for a second term, which is never going to happen, by the way. Not in a month of Sundays. So what they've had to do is get rid of her. They had her audition for being Prime Minister whilst Starmer was away on his choo-choo train with his Coca-Cola and using the rear entrance to get onto the train. Obviously, he wanted to do it discreetly. He didn't want the paparazzi to have him papped getting on a train from wherever it was, Switzerland or wherever, down to France. So they've sidelined Rayner. They've put her special projects. Right, you make sure that we build 1.5 million houses. What? How long have I got? 5 years. How many have you done in the first year? 20,000. So 4 years to build 1 million plus. So it's 250,000 a year when she's only done a minuscule amount of that. So they're making it difficult for her. They've done her politically. They've done her legs. She's got nowhere to go. She's sidelined. They're making it difficult for her. But as I say, she was never elected, so she can't be sacked. But she can be sacked. She's a champagne bloody socialist, man. The worst kind of a moronic person. That's MP, if you will. So I believe Alistair Campbell gave us the clue. Any story that's going on longer than 11 days. That's how it used to be between him and Blair. And I believe she's been sidelined. She's been sacked in all but name. Now Darren Jones, Chief Secretary to the PM. What the hell's that? Does he kind of step in when he's not there? That's exactly what the deputy does. And is he going to stand up at the dispatch box? Ooh, that'll put the cat amongst the pigeons. Angela Rayner, sacked. She's being told, Foxtrot Oscar. So, let me just get rid of this. What am I doing? I'm doing that. Just to get it out of the way. So we've done Churchill. We've done, Ginger Growler. She's gone. We'll do one more serious stuff, and then we'll get it. I want to talk about Thunderbirds. Oh, go. I don't know whether you were. Thank you, Alan. I'm going to need some Battenberg for tomorrow night. Thank you for your continued support, Alan. Thank you very much. We'll talk about Thunderbirds, but I want to talk about... so tonight we're going to make all the announcements on the birthday. I'm in negotiations with a remote viewer. I'll give you the yay or the nay tomorrow night. I'll let you know. And some interviews that we're going to come up over the next few weeks. Let's talk about that. Or knock. Oh yeah. Yes me. Yes me. Oh. Jeffrey Epstein. What? You forgotten about me already? Jesus, I've only been gone months. Have you noticed how everybody's forgotten about Jeffrey Epstein? Genius. It's genius. All the newspapers, all of the news output. No more. What a genius diversion. Ghislaine. She was like, oh, I'm going to name names. Yeah, I'm going to name names. Yeah. And then Virginia Giuffre. I'm going to name names. I'm going to name names. And then all of a sudden, nothing. Absolutely bugger all. You see, that's how you manage the news output. That's how you manage the news cycle. You flood the zone, so within a day or two, everybody's forgotten about it. But, I keep telling you about this on this channel. It's artistry. Keeping stuff out of the news and other stuff in the news is artistry. And I take my hat off to them. Are you aware that, we've got stuff in this country that this government are arranging for a mass extinction event? Are you aware that France now want hospitals to prepare to care for wounded soldiers? Now, I saw something in Marseille, and I've posted it to my X account today, of an illegal wielding a knife. And the French cops not buggering about, just like, right, drop the knife, in French, obviously. Drop the knife, and the guy's like, bang, 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 dead. Don't muck about. They carry guns in France. Police. And knife crime in this country is considered a firearms incident. You ask any of the police forces, you ask them, they'll tell you. They consider it to be a firearms incident. So in Marseille, there was like 6 cops in a line, guns drawn, drop the get knife. We're telling you, drop the get knife. Bang, 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 bang. He just raised the knife above his head, bang, 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 dead. Now, it's not like the movies where you think, I mean, are we becoming desensitized to this kind of stuff? I see it all the time. I don't flinch. 2 girls, 1 cup. So the French government want the country's hospitals to be prepared for a potential scenario in which thousands of wounded soldiers need to be cared for, according to a letter from the French Health Ministry reported in the French press. Are you in the same place as me? What the hell's going on? So French Health Minister Catherine Vautrin confirmed the information, but emphasised that there is no need to sound alarmist. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering, don't panic. Adding that it is perfectly normal for the country to anticipate crises like World War III. Oh, we're anticipating World War III. Don't you worry about that. The taxpayer can pay for these machinations. No, a magazine in France has reported that it saw a letter sent by the French Health Ministry to regional health authorities in July this year, which stated that hospitals must be prepared by March 2026 in the event of a major military deployment. So I'm just putting it on your radar now. You know I like to be 6 months ahead. So hospitals must be prepared by March 2026, that's next year, just in case you're getting a bit confused, in the event of a major military deployment. The Health Ministry pointed out that France could be the hinterland of a large-scale conflict. Therefore, well, you know what's happening, don't you? The amount of bloody dinghies they've got. Therefore, the country must be ready to accommodate wounded French and foreign soldiers. Oh, so who would the foreign soldiers be then? Oh, I've told you. Tell your kids, tell your grandkids, there's a rifle, there's a uniform, there's the front line. Can you imagine Gen Z? I'm not going there. I can't, man. I'm an influencer. I'm a YouTube influencer. I can't do that. Shut the fuck up and get on the front line. And was it in the newspaper over the day? Most English Gen Zers said, oh, no, I'm not fighting for country. Shut the fuck up. Conscientious objector, they're normally taken outside and shot. So you've got 2 options. Either we take you outside, 1 bullet, done, gone. Or you fight on the front line. Oh, can you imagine? In hell. Some of the old World War II boys who might be 100 years old would be more effective than 1,000 Gen Zers. At least they've got courage. That's the old boys. So the hospitals need to be ready to be able to care for, and I quote, 10 to 15,000 men within a period of 10 to 180 days. Sounds like a war to me. But what kind of war? So 10,000 to 15,000 men within a period of 10 to 180 days. This is official. It's been through the French Health Ministry. It's been through the French government, and it's been reported by French newspapers and magazines. This is legit. It hasn't been reported in Treasure Island because they don't want you to get scared. Oh, come here, we'll give you a cuddle. By the way, there's your AK-47. Walk off to the front line. It's coming. And all these people that voted these caring, understanding 90s type in the government. Your fault. Your fault. That's with you. Because I told you for nearly a year. Is he scaring you yet? And it's evident now that there cannot be any red-coloured political party in this country, and there can't be any blue-coloured political party in this country, and not some puce teal-coloured political party, or green, or yellow, or anything. Politics is dead. It is dead. Because they're going to send your kids to the front line. Now, who would that be? Oh, yes, they're setting Russia up. Russia's bad people. Putin, bad man. Ukraine, good people. Good man. Zelensky, sniffy. Oh, just give him more Coca-Cola. He'll be fine. Another Bugatti from Paris, Mr. President. And you know there's not just one country in this. And I've also warned you about Backdoor Charlie getting us into Europe by the back door. Do you know why he wants us in Europe by the back door? Because in Germany's army is rebuilding. Oh, hang on a second. That happened twice after we kicked their ass. Do we have to go and do it again? One for sorrow, two for joy, three for a girl. Fuck Germany. We've done it twice. And in the World Cup in 66. Although Gert Muller did us in 1970, I think. Was it 74 when they played Holland in the final? Let me tell you, I told you about France, and France and Germany are like a couple of whores in bed. They're all over each other. They after the Second World War, they agreed that one wouldn't do anything without the other. What do you mean, like a couple of whores in bed? Well, haven't you lived life? I've seen it on the telly. So Germany are rebuilding their army. So they're saying, oh, it's Putin. He's a bad man. Putin, Russia, bad man, bad country, bad people. No, they're just very clever at making oil and gas out of the ground. You are aware that China and Russia have just met over the last 24, 48 hours. Xi Jinping has met Vladimir Putin, and they've agreed to build a pipeline. Mongolia, out of Mongolia somewhere. They've agreed to build a pipeline for gas and oil. Oh, my word. Putin, he's the sharpest man on this fucking planet. He's running rings round these clowns, including birthday boy today, the toxic tart. They're running rings round them. And all Europe's got is, we'll fire some bullets at you if you don't stop that. Fuck off. So, Putin looms over Germany, not that far away. Trump's pulling back from NATO. Is Trump going to pull out before he gets there? Germany is gearing up to build the fourth largest army in the world. I mean, what could go wrong? No wonder the French are going, we're going to go back to war again. It's just on your radar. Not that I'm trying to, cast black clouds over our sermon and our get-together in the body of the Kirk. But you need to know this kind of shit so you can deal appropriately for your family, for yourself, your family, your community, and your country. So, and, Starmer's getting his knickers up in a bunch about the Freedom Rally on September 13th. I might go down, actually. Should I go down and do a live? Not sure. Can you imagine? Oh, wait, it's the Rev. We're all in trouble. So let's just... I know Trump will have said something a little earlier about Space Command, Captain James T. Kirk, Captain's Log. I've never, ever eaten one of those at Christmas. A chocolate log or a captain's log. I don't know why they said captain's log. Maybe the aliens were making him shit himself. I have no idea, if you pardon the pun. But Trump has said that the White House believes Europe is secretly undoing Ukraine's war end. So Trump is a bit pissed off with, Starmer. He was cut out of the picture. You know, he had the row of Mogadons in front of him. All the people that kind of go, yes, Mr. President, yes. Ursula von der Leyen, bitch. I mean, she's only cockeyed, which helps. That's because she's had 7 kids. So she's only cockeyed. And, well, he just laughs at them, all of them, whether it's Emile Macron. And, you know, they've dropped the suit against Candace Owens. Candace Owens saying he's married to a bloke in a bad wig. I mean, maybe they could have got on saying he wears a bad wig. But you kind of, if they're not going to take Candace Owens on and have backed down, it must be true. So the whole world's going, it's a bloke, it's a puppet. So they're all at it. So Germany, France, Netherlands, Britain, they don't want the Ukraine war to end. Why? Because too many politicians are making too much money out of the Ukrainian laundering machine. That's what's going on here. It's all the politicians wanting to make millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions out of Ukraine into their arse pocket. That's what it's about. Not about, well, we're protecting the Ukrainians. How do we end shite? So, seemingly, senior White House officials believe that some European leaders are publicly supporting President Trump's effort to end the war in Ukraine, whilst quietly trying to undo behind-the-scenes progress since the Alaska summit. You know, when Trump met Putin, and they all, even the brass monkeys were like, we need some welding gear here. So White House officials are losing patience with European leaders whom they claim are pushing Ukraine to hold out for unrealistic territorial concessions by Russia. Sniffy just needs to go, but he knows once the war's done, so will he. The Europeans don't get to prolong this war and backdoor unreasonable expectations whilst also expecting America to bear the cost, a top White House official said. Don't they realise? Europe, they only ever do stuff by the back door. Ask Macron and bloody Starmer and Lord Ali. If Europe wants to escalate this war, that will be up to them, but they will be hopelessly snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. They don't care. They don't care. Your children, your grandchildren go into the meat grinder. They don't give a flying. They just want to make sure they can get millions and millions and millions out of Ukraine into their trouser pocket. Now, Trump technically is in talks to deploy a private army to Ukraine. He's in talks with European allies about allowing armed contractors to help build fortifications to protect American interests in their country and in Ukraine. Don't mention biolabs in Ukraine. Oh! No, don't mention American biolabs in Ukraine. Oh! No. I would never mention American biolabs in Ukraine ever. Oh! So the plan is being devised as a workaround, workaround, after the US president promised that American troops would not be stationed in Ukraine. And then it turns out that Germany's mates, that's not mates, that's mates. It's the way the Germans pronounce it. Ich bin ein Engländer, du bist eine großen Biffer. Have I told you that story? Eine bisschen. I understand a little bit of German. Maybe I'll save it for the birthday tomorrow night. I might get slightly inebriated on the altar wine and just loose lips sink ships. So Germany's Merz, M-E-R-Z, he reckons he needs to prepare for a long war. Like I've told you, the German army, 4th biggest in the world. So in a televised interview on Sunday, he also said that if he hadn't decided to alter Germany's debt rules to allow it to massively invest in defence, the NATO alliance would probably have disintegrated in June. It's all about the Benjamins. It always is. Follow the money. The money's in Ukraine, and Germany is going to go further into debt. Unless, like France and Britain, or England, if you will, they go to the IMF and go, right, lads, how much can we have? How much do you want? Oh, right. Can we put our gold reserves, and we've only got a little bit, like, you know, maybe a ton. But hang on a second, we've loaned that to the Americans who don't want the American people to find out there's no gold in Fort Knox. We haven't got any. What do you mean you haven't got any? Well, we haven't got any gold. It's in America. So what are you going to set against us charging you interest on a loan that you say you need? Rachel from accounts will show you her big black hole. No, that's not going to cover it. How much money do you want? How much money you got? Give us a couple of days. Well, we'll take all of it. We'll take all of it, and we'll just get Rachel from accounts to show you her big black hole. Oh, that's got to be worth a few billion. She's married, you know. So Europe has a pretty precise plan to send troops to Ukraine. Oh, my word. You kids are getting it. I've told you. I predicted this for fucking 18 months. Even when we were so close to getting peace in Ukraine, peace in Russia, peace in the valley, peace in the bloody everywhere. And the Europeans didn't want that because the Europeans are making a shit ton of money, laundered money, out of Ukraine. Don't you know that the politicians are only in it for the money and the power? They're corrupt. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. So post this Ukraine-Russia conflict, security guarantees will be fully backed by US commitments. And that was in the Financial Times. And then, before he took a 3-day sabbatical where nobody knew who he was and everybody thought he died dead, this parrot is no more, deceased, Trump says he's going to order voter ID requirement for every single vote. Oh, we know why that is, don't we? Because the Democrats suddenly came up with, I think it was the highest ever Democratic vote was 70 million votes. And suddenly Biden trots in with 80 million Democratic votes. A seventh more than any other Democratic vote ever. Voter ID must be part of every single vote, no exceptions. I will be doing an executive order to that end, Trump said on, I think it was Truth Social. So he's going to stop any cheating, which means J.D. Vance, or RFK is going to be the next American president. It's between the two. Who's going to be 48. Can you imagine getting a 69 and saying, I'm the 69? Just comedy. Pure political comedy. So what else were we going to talk about? Yeah, Thunderbirds. After the seriousness of, people dying in the war machine, let's talk about Thunderbirds, just very briefly, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. Because, or do I go to some of your comments? Gene Psychic says, I go Vance. Ooh, RFK hasn't really started yet, though. It'd be interesting once he gets his unfortunate term of phrase, his teeth into the big pharma. And have you noticed how Trump's getting into big pharma, going, right, you need to tell the people exactly what you've done and how you've done it, and you need to put everything in front of the American people. And big pharma's going, no, we're shite, man. We're big pharma. We're not going to do that. Moderna, Pfizer. What was the other one? I can't remember what the other one. Moderna, Pfizer. But the president's going, executive order, I'll sign it. You've got to publish everything that you know about all of your vaccines because you said 95% effective and it was safe. And it was the people who didn't get the vaccine, the jibber jabber, that were going to cause all the problems. And, whoa, hang on a second. All those people who didn't get the jibber jabber, nothing's happened to them. Haven't died, haven't keeled over, no sudden heart attacks playing football, nothing. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go. Right, I'm not going to sing it for you, but Gene Psychic. I was more Stingray and Aquamarina. Oh, Stingray was fantastic. Where am I? Right, okay. So the question around, because it's 60 years old, Thunderbirds. I mean, I think we're showing our age. Obviously, I watched it on reruns. and AstraZeneca. Thank you, Neil. So AstraZeneca, Moderna, and Pfizer. They've been told they've got to cough and show everything to the American public. Everything. Oi, oi, oi. Beautiful. So, Mephistopheles going for Joe 90. I kind of get that because that was a really good theme. But I'm going to ask you 1 for yes, 2 for no. Is Thunderbirds on their 60th birthday, is the theme tune to Thunderbirds the best TV theme tune ever? 1 for yes, 2 for no. I think you're thinking about the adult version on porn. What? Rendering of 2 classic episodes back to back. They were fantastic children's series. Got complete series on Blu-ray. Tom Harney's all round to yours with Otto Wine and Battenberg. Interesting. It's kind of 50-50. Loads of no's. Ooh. Amalia, I'm not singing it. Bloody hell, you'll think I've just had me sphericals chopped off. Stingray had better theme tune, says Napoleon Bonaparte. Oh. Captain Scarlet, did it, says Bad Wolf Project. Well, obviously it was better than that song, of course. Fireball XL5, Tom Harney's. Bloody hell, how old are you? I mean, I can barely remember Fireball XL5, and I'm proper old. Mephistopheles, don't remember, obviously. Drunken Haze, Mephistopheles. Simons, one. Retro on his bikes, 1. Matthew Whedon, I bet you don't remember The Secret Service. No, I don't. Matthew, was that cartoon or was it? Hang on, who's laughing? Sam, prefer the Wings and Paul McCartney, Fireman Sam. You're wrong. Interesting, because I know you know, and everybody's voting for Joe 90. So Z Cars, The Sweeney, The Professional, Black Beauty, Follyfoot, loads of better theme tunes. Ooh. Right, I'm going to ask you a question before we go back and get serious. What is, and my vote might go for the Aeneid line. Can you remember that? Or on the buses. What was, Randall and Hopkirk, deceased, Dave Johnson, of course. Ligalista, Top of the Pops. Mephistopheles, Terror Hawks was great. She was an ugly old bird though. That bird in Terror Hawks. God, can't remember her name. Supercar was before Fireball XL5. Bloody hell, Ray. Z Cars was good, yeah. Sooty, Button Moon, Andrew James. Right. Favourite TV theme tune. Mine possibly would be the Oneiden line. Eye Level, Van der Valk, played that in the orchestra. Soul Rebel. God, I mean, it was so easy to play. The violins just played it, we just kind of hummed along as the cellists. Original Doctor Who theme, BBC Radiophonic Workshop, Cutting Edge theme. That's from Bad Wolf Project. Secret Service, 1969, Stanley Unwin. No, did the voice. No. Bell and Sebastian. Oh, says Adam Whale. The Persuaders. Dave Johnson. Now there's a theme tune. Roger Moore and what's his face? Curtis. Jamie Leesy's daughter. I'll hold that one for half an hour. Get a defendant upstairs, downstairs. Tony Curtis and Roger Moore, The Persuaders. Oh, and didn't it come straight after it's the Quiz of the Week from Norwich? Can't remember it. The Avengers original series theme. Oh, tasty. Adam Whale, Aram Kachachurian, Adrian. Not that old, Adam. Either that or they didn't have it on my telly in my house. Miami Vice, Phil Levan. Quantum Leap, Trailblazer. Now, you see, at this point, I should have done The Lone Ranger by Quantum, with that really long word in it. And I used to be able to do it back in the day, but I can't now because my brain's too old. Jamie Lee's Magic Torch, Paul Mabley, you mucky tart. Yeah, I remember what Jamie did with his magic torch. I'm surprised he didn't get arrested. Hands down. It wasn't hands down. It was more hands to anywhere but down. World in Action, Andrew James. What a cracker. I remember that. Yeah, agreed. Dempsey and Makepeace. Who said that? It was the sale of the century with Nicholas Parsons just before The Persuaders. Fantastic. Hang on, I'm going to go back up. Man from Uncle theme. I'm with you, Adam. Still got my Man from Uncle badge. I'll obviously show it off every now and again. Nothing better than a beautiful Man from Uncle badge, let me tell you. Grandstand, says Ray Norton. Yeah, they always used to start with man. Oh, I can't remember No, I can't remember it. Honestly, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it. No. They always used to start with. Was that World of Sport? Honestly, just ignore me. I'm randomly going off on a tangent. Tom Harney's Mission Impossible. Oh, love. Grandstand or match of the day for sports fans, says David Graham. There's also Paddington Bear, Neil Cunningham. You know, he was a immigrant. Queen loved him, though. But all I can say is, he's made up. From Peru. Didn't see him while I was there. White horses, says Alison. Yeah, agreed. More votes from Man from Uncle and Sale of the Century. Oh, sorry, you're all telling me it was Sale of the Century, which I couldn't remember. Thank you very much. Cloppercasty. What the bloody hell's that, Paul Mabley? Jesus, got some brain on you. Brain the size of a planet, Paul. Quantum Jump. Yeah, The Lone Ranger. What a tune that was. 78? 79? Back in the day of personality records. Police camera action with the repeated "he's crashed" line at the end. He's crashed. Robin Hood. Oh, yeah. We're at the bottom now. We're the Chipmunks, says TMG. Must be too much Battenberg, TMG. Soul Rebel, Forget About You. What, the Motors? Oh, what a tune that was by the Motors, Forget About You. Oi. I See You, Ligger, 1 banana 2. 3 banana 4. 4 banana. Oh, I can't remember the rest. Crime Watch UK. Monkeys. Don't tell them that in Hartlepool. The Professionals. Oh, yes. Bodie and Doyle. The Banana Splits. Na. Like a streak of lightning flashing across the sky, the swiftest arrow whizzing from a bow, like a mighty cannonball he seems to fly. You'll bastards. You'll hear about him everywhere you go, says Nicholas. Right, stop posting while I'm reading a long thing like that, you wrong'uns. There was The Prisoner by Vixtex, and I'm not old enough for the Ovaltinis, Andy B. And why don't you? Yeah, why don't you? Dr. 69. Wasn't that presented by the kids? And Here Comes Muffin the Mule. That definitely will get you arrested. No doubting. I thought it was a sexual offence until I saw Jerry Springer. Brush Strokes, says Garen Davis. And Anne-Marie Steele. Definitely Joe 90 from Annie the Florist in Belfast. Annie, so good to see you in the body of the Kurt again. So glad. I hope you are well. Hope everything's going well. And Terry the Wookfit did a massive one. Wakatanga, Hanga, Kawaya, Tamata, Arturi, Puka, Fuka, Waka, Picky, Mangaroon, Fuck One, Bollock, Shite, Poka, Wana, Kanata, Mickey, Kitty, Tora. See, I knew I could remember it. Tales of the Unexpected. And, The Equalizer. Edward Woodward. Prisoner Cell Block H. Cool. All the women loved that. And rhubarb and custard. Is that for dinner, dessert, or I think they did a rave thing, didn't they? Rhubarb and custard. The Hoibs, Dill the dog. You know, if they make bread with dill, do they start with dildo? Just asking for a friend. Smash the likes, you Romans. We've been going for blimey nearly 2 hours. Hang on, 431 people watching now. What do they think? We're giving away fucking money or something? The TV programme Get Stuffed. Get Stuffed. The TV programme. Nobody's mentioned the Clangers. What's going wrong with you? Oh, the Double Deckers. Yeah, all that. Catch the Pigeon. Loved that. Andy Pandy. She did loads of weed, didn't she? Bill and Ben. Weed. Again. You bloody Mark the Grass Man. Dungeons and Dragons, Blockbusters. I'll have a pee. Top of 69. Dilled. Or Diddled. One of the two. Happy Days and Sir Prancelot. Right, we've had enough of that. I want to get back to some of the stuff. So, I've told you about Venezuela. I've told you about war. What is it good for? Absolutely bugger all. But I'm going to tell you, these Muppets in the Zempic Palace, because they're all on it, because they're all bloody losing weight. How can they do that? What do they do? Giving them laxatives or something? Well, they're full of it, so they should do. So politicians are back to work yesterday, and all of a sudden, it's bloody chaos. So Yvette Cooper, so she does a speech to the House. That's what they call it. And they're going to roll out. Now, I've been telling you this for months. They're going to roll out digital ID and biometrics. You know what they're saying? I told you this on Sunday. They reported it on Sunday. Well, we're going to roll digital ID out because, well, it'll stop the illegals. No, it won't. We want you to stop the illegals, not bloody digital ID and biometrics. Why don't you just say to them, you land on our shores, you can swim back. No dinghies, swim back. And oh, by the way, we've got the Royal Navy anchored just offshore, and they're going to be using live rounds in exercises. So you've got to dodge them and the jellyfish. So it's to check people's legal right to be in the UK. Are they off their chumps? So it doesn't matter what I say to you. It doesn't matter what we organise. It doesn't matter how we tell them we don't want this. They're just not stopping, no matter what you think or say. So if you look at what's going on, or the Epping Hotel, is it the Bell Ends, everything that's happening in society now, this is the crisis that they've created to make us, me and you, accept digital ID. And I've told you what they're going to do is they're going to create a crisis. They're going to create a solution to a problem that you never knew you had. And now everybody's got to accept digital ID and carry digital ID. And you just wait till they align your social media posts to your right to freedom, your freedom of speech. Now, can you not remember that they've been talking about getting away with the European Convention for Human Rights? Can you not see how they're disassembling everything? Everything that protects you and me, your family, your community, your kids, grandkids, everybody. They're disassembling it. Well, they're not. Their paymasters in Davos are disassembling it. Larry Fink, Tony Blair. Tony Blair wanted in for the gig. He wanted the Benjamins. He wanted to run this. So now, it's not because of the illegals coming into this country. That's easily stopped. I could give you 1,000,000 ideas to stop the illegals, and it would stop within 24 hours. I'll guarantee you. Firstly, you stop the politicians taking backhanders. You tell the politicians, this would be my first rule. If I'm ever in government and I become Prime Minister, this is my first rule. All politicians that come into this house leave with exactly the same amount of money, and all of your pay will be given to you right at the very end. So if you've got to scrimp and scrape and you've got to put expenses in, that's fine. We'll look after you. But you don't get a fucking penny until you leave. And when you leave, we're going to work out where you got the money from. You, your wife, your kids, any bank account, 4 generations removed from you. You don't get a fucking penny. Space 1999. Bloody hell, we've moved on, man. So that's what they're doing. They're going to align it. They're going to align it to your bank account so they can take out what they want, not put in. It's always take out. They're going to align it with your social media posts. So if you go, oh, Starmer, the toxic tart, it's his birthday today. Oscar. Oh, there you go. Oof, your digital ID. That's who said it. It's that tart on the theatre of the mind. Yeah. Stop his food. Right. Shall we finish with shagging? Not finish. Hang on. How long have we been going? Yeah, all right. We'll finish on shagging. Do you want to know why? I'm calling it diggity. Diggity. Simply because shagging is a dance in America. Can you do the shag? Have you ever done the shag? Ask any American. It is a genuine dance in America. It's called The Shag. And there is a song by the Tams called There Ain't Nothing Like Shagging. Dancing. Obs. So this is a real transitional moment right here, right now, because the question has to be asked, what do we do about declining fertility rates? Because the fertility rates in this country are hitting an all-time low. That's England and Wales. Now, would you say there's cause for concern for the economy and the services? Why do you think they're letting the illegals in? Because we're not shagging enough. We're not knocking out enough kids. I've seen some figures where every woman, not bloke, because they can't give birth, but every woman has got to give birth to like 2.2 kids or 2.4 kids. And we're not knocking enough kids out. I don't know whether they're not shagging, but Gen Z and below, they're getting off the tits on recreational gear rather than interact as human beings and enjoying the diggity. So seemingly a decline in global population is being threatened later this century. And that in itself may threaten human progress. Or, if we start shagging now and knocking the kids out, it may lead to better lives. Who knows? But genuinely, seemingly, over the next 25 years, we've all got to start shagging more and knocking kids out. Oh, can you imagine? Cleaning the nappies, man. So global fertility rates have been falling for decades and are reaching historically low levels, according to those people who know. While the human population now exceeds 8 billion and may top 10 billion by 2050, it won't. It won't. The momentum of growth is dissipating because of declines in its most powerful driver. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you for your continued support, sir. Fertility. So over the next 25 years, East Asia, Europe and Russia will all experience significant population declines. So unless we kind of go for it, now, it's a comedy opening, but cut down on the number of abortions, go back to safe, legal and rare, and not as a replacement for contraception. Boom. Bullseye. Terry Wookfit. Gene Psychic. I had 4 to be fair. All lads. Well, you've done your bit for society and the world, Gene Psychic. Cool. They're all coming here, says Alan. I know. Bad Wolf Project. Bay City Rollers, Shang-a-lang-a-lang. From what I've read, it was Shag-a-lad. It was. Oh, I'm not going to tell you on here what I know. I'm not. I am absolutely not. But the manager in Edinburgh, dead now, obviously. Don't send the kids to schools today. Is it it's Tuesday? Was it not the first day back today, David? The magic juice has helped. Good on you, Robbie Reeves. Robbie Rees or Reese. By the time I was 23, been married twice and had 4 kids. Jane, psychic, man. Did you like wedding cake or something? Not have a telly in your house? Encourage white women to have more kids with tax breaks and housing. Good point, Paulie Galtieri, but we're in a bit of a panshite. In a bit of a panshite. I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to tell you about Venezuela. I'm going to tell you what's going on behind there, and I'm going to tell you about a secret CIA program. Only take me a couple of minutes, but I will tell you about it. It was a successor to the infamous MK Ultra. So Venezuela, it looks like they're upset with Trump and the Americans and Trump are upset with Venezuela. So US-Venezuela tensions are rising. What they're doing is they're sending US warships into the Southern Caribbean. Whilst the US Coast Guard and Navy ships regularly operate in Southern Caribbean, this build-up is significantly larger than the usual deployments in the region. I've told you before. Keep your ears and eyes open for Venezuela and Hungary. It's one of the 6 central banks that the Rothschilds don't own. So a US official has obviously been bumping his gums, speaking on the condition of anonymity, said, on Thursday, 7 US warships, along with 1 nuclear-powered fast attack submarine, were either in the region or were expected to be there in the coming week. Pentagon, $2.3 trillion, 9/11, has not indicated publicly what exactly the US mission will be, but the Trump administration has said it can now use the military to go after drug cartels and criminal groups and has directed the Pentagon to prepare options. Hang on, I'll rephrase that. Trump administration has said it can now use the military to go after drug cartels, criminal groups, and central banks. Now, on Thursday, the White House said Trump was ready to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to get hold of the central banks. I'm kind of paraphrasing. So the US military has also been flying P-8 spy planes in the region to gather intelligence. Officials have said, though, they have operated in international waters. It's kicking off around Venezuela. They're not happy. They want the central banks. And as you and I know, Trump doesn't have autonomy. He's just doing what his paymasters have told him. Right, you want to know this secret CIA program? It's called MK Often. I'm sure they do in the military. But it's a secret CIA program that's linked to occult experiments and mind control, seemingly. The project, known as MK Often, ran from the late 1960s into the early 70s at testing facilities, including hospitals and prisons. It's a successor to MK Ultra, which secretly dosed unwitting subjects with LSD to probe mind control. MK Often was primarily focused on pharmacological research. So over the coming weeks, more of MK Often, the papers, are going to start coming out. We all know about MK Ultra, and we can do MK Ultra another night if you want. But MK Often, keep your eyes open for it. It's just heading onto the radar, and it's something you need to be aware of. Because if the shit flying, the Americans won't want it on their hands. Quick aside, New York Post posted the other day that there's a free speech crackdown going on in this country. Are you aware of this? According to the New York Post, up to 30 people a day are being arrested for retweets and cartoons. What did I tell you? Watch out for digital ID. It's coming, you wrong'un. I think, where are we? If you could be very kind and smash the likes, please, so we can get over 200 before there's over 500 people watching tonight. So if you could smash the likes, I would really appreciate it. It gets us over 200, and that kind of says to the YouTube algorithm, hey, they quite like that. Mephistopheles, telekinesis. I've seen some video of some Russian women doing telekinesis. It would... maybe we can do that another night. It would be fantastic. What the fuck? No, I didn't hear that. Didn't you, Stuart? Cheers, Adrian. Great live. He's off. So thank you to everyone that's been on the live this evening. Thank you for your continued support. And don't forget to smash the likes, please, as you leave the body of the Kirk. Just be aware that Sister Mary's big dog Dick, the puppy, is black. So it might be a little difficult to see in the dark. So watch as you leave the body of the Kirk, because the dog's not going to like it if you step on it. And I don't think Sister Mary will be happy with it either. But hopefully we'll give you more updates on Sister Mary's big dog Dick. And I hope you've enjoyed all the information that I've given you this evening. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions. Please check them, make sure they're still there. But most of all, thank you for your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. It's a third birthday party tomorrow night. God knows it'll be chaos, but it'll be happy chaos. So third birthday tomorrow night. Wherever you go, whatever you do, please stay safe. Look after yourself. Don't forget emergency Battenberg. It always works. And there's a little bit of Alta wine you can take home for your partner if you wish. And as far as I'm concerned, the Theatre of the Mind live, number 230. It's not a show. It's a mission. And we go again Wednesday, 7:30. See you then.